here as an outpatient therapist, and I also have my own private practice as well.
Great, great. And Linda?
Hi, I am a clinical psychologist, IFS certified, and I work only online in 2 states, Florida and Connecticut.
Great. Why those 2?
Those are the 2 places that I live, and that's where I got licensed. I live part of the time in Connecticut, part of the time in Florida.
Super. Carrie?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I am a licensed clinical counselor and art therapist, and also a life coach, and do a lot of couples work.
Super, super. Marilyn, where are you?
Hi.
There you are. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi.
Hey, do you all know about the gallery view, by the way? If you go up on the upper right of your screen, you get a speaker view and you get a gallery view. And the gallery view gives you the Brady Bunch aspect of everybody who's there. So, okay, Marilyn, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. What were you?
I'm in Victoria, BC, and I'm just starting out as a psychotherapist in private practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, great. And Dana?
Hi, I'm in Astoria, Oregon, kind of on the end of Oregon, right on the Columbia River, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I also have an outpatient addictions program.
Great.
I have to say something to her. Astoria is beautiful. I just have to say, I love your little town. My sister lives up there.
Oh, really?
In Portland. And we come to Astoria every time I go to visit because we love how cute and quaint and on the water it is.
Wonderful. And Julie, I just made you co-host, so you can
Gotcha.
so you can look, because other people are trying to get in. Let's see. I may have.
I can get it.
Okay. We might have to. Oops, I might have to mute you all. There we go.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm going to continue and allow you to unmute yourself. There we go. Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me? Great. We're going to start in just 2 minutes. Kudos to those of you who got here early. I really appreciate it. We have a great group. I'm really honored by the amount of people that signed up for this. So there's a lot to cover in an hour and a half, but I'm going to give you all I can. And I just want to wait a couple more minutes for people to kind of find this, because I was people signed up actually as today and actually sent information needing to get in. Okay, so we're admitting people as they come. And I'm going to, anybody that hasn't introduced themselves, if you don't mind unmuting yourself, you can unmute yourself and introducing yourself. A few people did already, but who hasn't that would like to? I'm going to call on somebody I know. Lauren, can you unmute yourself, or do I have to unmute you?
Sure, I just unmuted myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Bondi. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have a private practice in suburb of Chicago. I'm also co-founder of Parenting Perspectives. I don't know if Karen already introduced herself or not yet, but
Nope.
She's waving there. So we are co-founders of Parenting Perspectives and do a lot of work with parents and co-parenting and divorcing couples and that kind of work. So
Great. Well, Karen, why don't you go next? Unmute yourself if you would, huh? Wave so people can find you on the little thing. Okay, there she is. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm Karen Jacobson. I am a marriage and family therapist. I have a private practice in Chicago, and I'm partners with Lauren, and we do a lot of work with parents and co-parents.
Wonderful. You're going to find a lot of people in this group that you might want to know about and network with and refer to and get referrals from. So as much as I want to offer you the skills and the tools, there's going to be a lot of camaraderie and community, as much as you want. My brother says people don't want community, they just want the facts. So I'll give you the facts, but for those of you who do want community, we want to set that up too. So who else would like to? We're just going to take a couple more minutes and let people come in, but who else who hasn't spoke would unmute themselves and say hi.
Hi, everybody. Nice to
Wave your
meet
hand,
you.
wave your hands. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm Thomas Falpel, and I'm in private practice as a marriage family therapist in San Francisco. I work with individuals and couples. I do a lot of trauma work, and I also have a specialty working with individuals and couples around money issues, couples in conflict around money, and helping them navigate that.
Great.
So it's
Great.
nice
And
to be here.
it's wonderful to have you. And those of you who are sharing, if you also want to share in our private group, the Facebook group is Compassionate Mediation Professionals. That's going to be an ongoing group where we can continue to learn more about each other, support each other, and see where the areas of expertise are to build on. Okay, thank you, Tom. And who else?
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Kuzma, and I'm in Christiansburg, Virginia, which is in the southwest corner of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I have lived here for the last 5 years, where I serve as a pastoral counselor and the director of a retreat center for pastors and their families with a denomination called the Foursquare Church. And I come to this role in the last 5 years after serving in Southern California for 30 years as a pastor myself. And then also do a little bit of work on the side with an organization called Emotionally Healthy Discipleship by Pete and Jerry Scazzaro, who are the authors of a pretty significant work called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality.
Wonderful.
So that's me, and that's what I do.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure as we introduce each other and ourselves, you'll see a commonality in terms of what we do and the self-leadership involved and the heartfelt way we're serving our clients. So I'm really honored by those of you I see gathered here. So who hasn't introduced themselves yet? Please. Okay, Jamie. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Goodman, and I'm located in Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in private practice, and I'm heavily IFS focused. My practice is IFS. I'm certified, and I keep going for more and more and doing my own work. And I also am certified in collaborative divorce. I'm a divorce coach, and I work with a team of attorneys and financial professionals. We have a group, and we bring 3 people through divorce, couples through divorce, using the collaborative model where they're in the room. I don't know if any of you work with collaborative, but the only time we go to court is the day of the divorce. And I do the parenting plan, and I handle the emotional piece and kind of run the meetings and keeping them moving forward and staying on track if they go off track. So I'm really excited to hear more about the compassionate mediation approach, because I think I'll be able to use some of these tools. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Who else? A few more haven't checked in.
I can go next. Hi, my name is Cynthia Azali Rojas, and I am based in Los Angeles, California. I am a coach and a consultant, and I mostly do work with social justice organizations who are doing work around racial and gender justice. And the main work that I'm doing right now is with youth organizations that are being funded by LA County to support working class Black and Latino youth. And so I'm looking forward to learning more skills that I can share with those groups.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Who else? Raise your hand and jump right in.
Hi. I'm Carmen Dominguez. I live in Boston, and I have a private practice in Arlington, Mass. And I also teach at Lesley University. I want to just warn everybody that I got kicked off of my internet. So I'm on my phone. I've never done Zoom on my phone. So I'm trying to figure it out.
You're coming in clearly. It's a full picture.
Good.
You couldn't tell. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So I have been, I did a lot of training and work 30 years ago and the Cambridge Family Institute when Richard Schwartz was there. And so really have done a lot of, family work. And I have, looked at the interconnection between addiction and trauma and violence, and have done a lot of work with families and individuals who are suffering with those kind of issues, and really looking at patterns of behaviors and of being that we get hooked into and we get addicted to, if you will. So IFS really just resonates with the way that I understand our psychology. And I have done a lot of studying and you know, connecting with, like, bringing the bridge between science and spirituality together and bringing a voice to the mental health field, meaning that I love Richard Schwartz's work because I can see how it's really grown to be very, very clear that there is a self, that we are trying to figure out how to define in our field. And I love that he just says it, you know, it's self-entity. I love that.
And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is how to bring all that self-energy both into our practice and into relationships. So thank you for sharing all that. Who else didn't share? Damon.
Yeah.
I'll call on you. Hi.
Damon Azali Rojas. I'm downstairs from Cynthia. I'm the designated person to deal with our two kids who might stress out our granny during this call. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I am a coach trainer. Started coaching in about 8 years ago, and I run coach training programs previously for Leadership That Works, but I'm also starting my own coaching school, which is going to be focused on Black, Indigenous, and people of color systemic oppression issues in relation to coaching. And I'm hoping to learn just really how to use this in relation to relationships. So we teach that in our coaching programs, and I haven't found a really good way to, like, really think about it within the self-leadership mode of thinking. And so that's why I signed up for this class. And
I'm so glad you did. And thank you for mentioning that, because one of the common misnomers about the fact that I chose compassionate mediation for the title of what I do is that it seems to pigeonhole into divorce or couples, but it's really teaching a self-led method of compassionate communication, of really how to access your highest self, let go of limiting beliefs, unburden the pain from your past, and relate from your heart. And that's our focus. And then the rest builds on that. So that's exactly what you're talking about. And I invite you, because we're having so many different kinds of practices, to take what works for you, leave the rest. I've got about 30 years of experience to offer you in the 4.5 hours that we're going to spend together in these 3 sessions. We did up the CEUs for those of you who are taking CEUs, and if you haven't signed up for it, you still can. There are going to be 5 CEUs for this course instead of 3. So we're going to meet 90 minutes today and for the next 2 Tuesdays. After that, we're going to meet once a month. And I will ask you between now and the end of these 3 weeks, what works for you in terms of those 3 sessions, because we've got about 25 people signed up here, but I know a lot of people couldn't make it and will be listening to the replays. So I'm going to be asking you when is good for the live ones to come. And also, if you're in the Facebook group, I'm going to be doing some Facebook Lives in that group from time to time. And if you have any ongoing questions, you can post them there and I can answer them or do a Facebook Live about it. I'd really like the next 3 months to be a really exceptional learning experience for you. And the only way that's going to happen is if you let me know what you need. I have, like I said, tons of experience to share, lots of tools. And because I don't think there are any accidents, I do believe we're all here for a reason, this particular group. And that you will probably, in some ways, learn as much from each other in terms of what you share as you do from me as the facilitator. I have slides, I have designated things to share with you, but we're going to do a combination of sharing between us and teaching and whatever else you need. So please give me your feedback live or send me an email, and I want to co-create this group with you. Okay, does that make sense? Now, I don't want to forget anybody. So if you haven't chimed in, I'm losing track on here. There's 2 pages actually. If you scroll, there's 2 pages of people, and there's a couple people on the phone. So Laura, Karen, Stephanie, Galaxy, Jerry, if you want to zone in or say hi, please do. I'm going to give you a minute or 2, and then we're going to start the other part of the course. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Laura. Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Sorry, I was having some technology issues. That's
okay.
why I came in twice. I'm a coach. I work primarily with women who are stuck in frankly, an addictive cycle of eating and then dieting. I came out of the corporate world, and so I don't have any formal training around, I guess, relationship therapy. And so I came to IFS 3 years ago and have taken all 3 levels of training. And I'm just excited to add this to the repertoire because there's so many times that people use food or alcohol from an addictive purpose because they're really stuck in their relationships. I'm really excited about this training.
Exactly. And thanks for mentioning that. I won't be able to say this enough, but this training is for working with individuals as well as working with couples. Every individual that comes to me gets the same introduction, gets the same introduction to IFS. And it's amazing what helping someone bring more self into their relationship does to their relationship. So even if you're working with only one member, you're going to be healing couples and families. Okay. Shobha, good to see you.
Hi, Linda. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Same here. Putting faces with names. So fun. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm an IFS coach and practitioner. I started in meditation and yoga and intuitive-based healing. And I've been doing IFS for about a decade with survivors of childhood sexual abuse trauma, and also folks recovering from addictions and doing ancestral healing work. And I've done some mediation courses and also training in the MBC, and so I'm just
great. So the words that are coming up between individual coaching, marital counseling, mediation, collaborative divorce, nonviolent communication, yoga, meditation, all included in what we're going to talk about. And I invite you to bring your expertise. So a couple more and then we're going to start. Start the other part. Who hasn't talked, please don't make me keep track. Just jump in.
Okay.
Got another?
Yes. I'll come in quickly. My name's Amy Moran. It's really nice to meet you, Linda, sort of more face-to-face. And
same here.
I'm a registered psychotherapist in Ontario, Canada. And I also am the executive director of a private college that teaches psychotherapy, psychodynamic psychotherapy. And, I'm always interested in learning more strategies and more insights into what I'll call relational competence. And great. So I really look forward to this. We certainly mentor our students in this because it's an experiential program that we've developed. And so those relational capacities and competencies are really important, both sort of outside and inside of us. And so I look forward to learning more.
Thank you. And thanks for mentioning the outside and inside. This is really an inside job. It's our inside job as self-leaders in terms of leading the session. And it's an inside job for each of our clients, whether we're seeing them as individuals or we're seeing them as a couple. And what we're really doing is reminding them that there is this self, and the self is going to be doing all the work. We can let our parts relax. Couple more introductions, and then who didn't say anything?
Hi, can you hear me?
Wave your hand. Yes.
Okay, Leslie Gray from the East Coast, Laconia, New Hampshire, and I also have an office in Attleboro, Massachusetts, licensed clinical counselor, and I've been using IFS for a while now. I am fascinated by it, and I just keep seeing all these different areas that it could be used, and so when your training came up, I was just blown away. So I'm just excited to see how the two worlds kind of collide. I'm also
wonderful.
a Reiki master and a yoga instructor. Grandmother of a 1.5-year-old, had to throw that in there. But this work just fascinates me, and I know that our community in mental health is bracing itself a little bit for this anticipation of the problems in relationships, being home. So I think the timing of this is just perfect. And I'm really hoping that's not the case, but I can also see where mediation would be something that I think couples would really embrace, as opposed to the traditional language of marriage counseling or couples counseling, because it's such a matter-of-fact approach to things that it just falls right into what we really need to be doing with people to help them communicate better.
Absolutely, and thank you for mentioning that. I'm hoping that compassionate mediation becomes its own catchphrase. In other words, it's not just marriage counseling, it's certainly not just divorce counseling, but it's an opportunity to have a self-led conversation about every single issue anyone's ever thought about, including the possibility of leaving. And that doesn't often happen in marriage counseling because people are afraid to talk about that part of themselves. They're afraid that if they say, I've thought of separating, or I've wondered what it would be like to get divorced, that would end the marriage counseling. And I'll tell you a story about that a little later in terms of an IFS conference I was at where, well, I'll tell you now. I was at an IFS conference and I was in a class with a wonderful teacher who was doing highly conflictual cases. And when I role played the partner who wanted a divorce, the therapist that was leading the class said, well, then you don't want to be here. And unfortunately, what happens is as soon as that D word comes down, a lot of us in the past have thought we've lost them. We can't do counseling anymore. We have to send them to a mediator. They're going to see a lawyer. They're not really invested. Deep breath. Sometimes having the courage to talk about an ending is what allows for a new beginning. And that's what we're doing. So compassionate mediation is an opportunity to talk about everything from your higher self. So a couple more, and then anybody else who wants to that didn't? If not, you'll have a chance next time. Okay. Okay, what I want to do first is I want to, somebody's still coming in, great. Okay, what I'd like you to do is do a 16-second breath with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. So inhale, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Once more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And the reason I ask you to do that is, of course, when we do that, we bring a little more self-energy in, and beef connection is unstable. My biggest fear is the technology here, but we'll do what we can. How many of you are familiar with internal family systems? Raise of hands. I think most of you are. Good. Is there anyone who's not? Because you will be by the end of this. Because all my clients that come to me, most of them have no clue what IFS is, and I'm going to introduce it to you the same way I introduce it to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep you all muted, and I'm going to end the visual parts so that I can be on the screen. I'm going to start the recording over for people that just want to get to the teaching part of this and get the introduction separately. And just as a housekeeping, I will have the replay available hopefully by tomorrow for you to see, or the other people who will be waiting for it. And there's also pages where you can get the handouts and everything else we'll be talking about. So you don't really need to take notes so much today because it'll all be available to you. Okay, so Julie, how do I close the videos on everybody?
Everybody can stop sharing. Yeah, everybody can stop share on their own if they would like to. And you can do it over under participants.
Okay, because then their names will still be there. So I'd like just to have a
as soon as you start sharing, I think we'll be okay.
Okay, because I can't. All right, let me get the speaker view. And then if I pin the video, no, see, I still see everybody in the background, and I'm trying to just get, pardon me, folks. Okay, that's good. There we go. Hi there. Okay, now I'm going to stop this recording.